This is gonna be a love reading for Aries. What we see from the cards, it's definitely someone who left in a pretty abrupt way, left you wondering why did they leave. With the first card, we can immediately see that the situation at first seems very unstable and very painful for you. In fact, with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, what we have is a situation where everything that seemed to be achieved, it's actually lost. This was a situation where the both of you reached a very established connection. There was a very stable foundation underneath this relationship and connection that you never thought that this could happen. Regardless of the fact that you might have been together for a long time or short time, this really felt as something that could have lasted forever. With the Ten of Pentacles, in fact, we usually have an energy that is showing not only love, respect, and appreciation, but also a partnership with someone that it's really showing up a whole bunch of results. This should have been that moment where everything just goes very smoothly. You got to know each other, you know what works and what doesn't work for that person. And so you just enjoy the company while making each other feel special. But this card being reversed, we definitely see that at this point in time, all of that balance and all of that work that was put in is actually being lost because of something that has happened from their end. And we see immediately right next to the Ten of Pentacles that we have the Five of Wands, where we usually see a energy that talks about having to compete with other people and other elements that are part of this picture. And so we can immediately understand that either they were involved with other people as well, or overall they weren't working hard enough to make you feel special and to make you feel appreciated in a relationship that took a lot of work in order to become what it was at that time. But regardless, right here, this person really didn't think about what the consequences could have been. And so with the Five of Wands, we have an unstable energy, an event that it's bringing into this situation something that should have not been there. Definitely competition, and also what we see with that card is a lot of misunderstandings, and the communication in general here, it's really not efficient. You don't understand each other. It feels sometimes as though you speak two different languages, and overall you get the feeling that they don't even want to listen to what you have to say, to your reasons, and they don't want to acknowledge the fact that right now you're hurt. And so it's pretty easy to understand that at this point, after these two energies are showing up, there has to be some sort of transition, migration. And in fact, with the Six of Swords, we have someone who is moving away. Keep in mind though that with this card, we have a transition that it's not easy to make. And not just for you, but also for them as well. They know it's coming. They know that it's going to happen because of the things that have happened. But at the same time, they don't feel good about it. It's not what they wanted to cause with their actions. And this is definitely no excuse, but what the card is just telling us, it's that although they messed up and in a way their actions make them seem as though they didn't care about you and about the situation, that was not the case. This transition is painful for you as it is painful for them. And in fact, you see here all these trees bending because these two butterflies are moved by the wind. They're not doing any kind of effort. They're just letting the events happen, although they're not initiating this transition and this migration. And with these cards up here, we can start understanding a little bit more into why this person behaved this way and eventually why they decided to leave without fighting more in order to save this connection. And with the first card, we can immediately understand what might have brought to this situation. In fact, with the Emperor reversed, we definitely have someone who's very selfish. So if you find yourself sometimes thinking that maybe they created the situation because they didn't have enough from you, Maybe there was something that you could have done in order to avoid this. What this card is telling us is that that is definitely not the case. This is just someone who's showing up to be very self-centered, narcissist, and very focused on what they want, what they need, instead of thinking about what's good for the relationship and this connection. I see here someone who definitely wants to be in control of the situation, in control of everything around them. And overall, this control also comes from the fact that they're trying, obviously, to hide something. So in general, this could be a person who sometimes seems very cold and distant, but behind the scenes, we are seeing that that is because they're trying to manipulate the situation and you in order to make you believe certain things, in order to make you focus on certain things instead of others. And usually when this card is upright, we have someone very responsible, someone very reliable. And in this case, being reversed, it's clear that this person is really not in a place in life where they can build something. And eventually they will regret this. They will regret these events and actions because we're not often given the opportunity to have something so beautiful. The Ten of Pentacles, we definitely have a connection that it's strong, that it's unique and special. And when we just throw it away because we have other interests and other things around us that we might be attracted to, it's a real bummer. But in a way, I get also the sense that this person might be a little immature at this point in time. In fact, with the Knight of Wands, the next card, I see that this person is not really in control of their actions. They are trying to act as though they are in control of the situation, of themselves. But as you see here, this person is just at the mercy of that energy that is controlling them. It's a powerful energy that is surrounding them, and it turns them into someone who acts first and thinks later. So no surprise there in seeing that they are very impulsive and they did this just because they didn't think about the situation. We see that passion that they have inside, which is absolutely beautiful, and there is nothing wrong with any of that. But at the same time, they need to learn still how to channel that energy for the greater good. And this might have been something that they had to go through in order to start learning what they need to fix about themselves and what they need to adjust. And eventually they will have to pay the price, as we will see with the next two cards, starting with the Six of Cups, which always talks about someone who's starting to think about past memories, past relationships. And so we see this transition right here, that they're not initiating, but also they're not fighting against. But soon after, they will start thinking about what they've done, what they've lost once they let you go. With this card, we always have someone who can barely sleep, can barely do anything throughout the day without always thinking about these memories that are coming up without them being in control. And so again, this will definitely be out of their element because in general, they do want to be in control. And now instead, they start feeling regret, they start feeling sad, and overall, they just wish they could go back in time. But the reason why they left and the reason why, at least for now, they're not coming back, it's because they just don't know how to approach the situation at all. With the Four of Cups, you can see also here in the picture, we have someone who's just sitting there. They know they're not happy and there is something that they should do in order to fix the situation, but they don't know how. And so instead of taking action and doing something, they would rather be an audience watching how their life is falling apart instead of actually starting to do something about it. And we see also with these two cards here, Anchor and the Mice there, that this person is definitely someone who's really rooted into this kind of behaviors. And keep in mind that when someone keeps repeating the same pattern over and over again, it's also because they are very familiar with it they're not courageous enough in order to get outside of that comfort zone and try something different and see if they can fix what they have been doing wrong. And so we have, with the anchor right here, someone very inflexible, which in a way it's also telling us that they might not even see what they are doing wrong. They feel the consequences of their actions, but then when they really focus on why certain things are happening, they're just blind to them. And with the mice, we have something that it's deteriorating from the inside, which is telling us that they're really not happy with the situation. And eventually, this is bringing them to a death energy where they will be forced to change. They will be forced to face all of these elements that right now they're just hiding and they're just not considering. And in order to understand if they will mature and if they will finally face the truth and come up with a game plan to come back to you, make sure to check out the extended reading link below.